And if you're just joining us, welcome back. I missed a huge chunk of the conversation this morning, but not to worry, we have you covered with the headlines as we review what the pages are saying. And joining us to review the front pages of the newspapers is the public affairs analyst. You see him here often, Sesan Okunade. Good morning, thank you for joining us, and happy birthday.
Yeah, good morning, Olive. Good morning, Osag, and good morning to our viewers. Great to start the week here on News Central.
Good to have you here.
It's how you conveniently ignore the happy birthday, but let's proceed with the good news that we have.
I reserve my comment.
Let's get into the papers this morning. We begin with the Daily Independent newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Independent, the big story this morning is harsh environment slows telcos investment, impacts severe quality. Rivers Assembly crisis. PDP denies filing appeal challenging High Court order. Nobody can stop Benue governor from doing 2 terms. Is that okay? All right. Jemade vows 2027. Modo charges PDP to place premium on internal democracy. Court orders ministry to disclose details of pact between federal government and X. Why Lagos may reinstate monthly environmental sanitation by Sanwo-Olu. I like it. NMCC receives complaint from federal government against Daily Trust newspaper. And Spain defeats England 2-1 to win Euro 2024 final. If England had won, we'll have not heard word yesterday, but my heart is with England. The cup has gone on vacation for a while, or the trophy has gone on vacation. Dangote refinery, Dangote fertilizer to list on stock market next year. That's interesting. Kanu's release will separate genuine agitators from criminals, LP lawmakers tell Tinubu. That's all on the Daily Independent. Let's move over to the Vanguard newspaper.
Well, there's not very many stories on the Vanguard from what I see, but let's quickly share. It says here, consumer spending down as Nigeria remains gloomy on economy. Okay, I think we'll take the Daily Trust instead. It says here, 6 years after Abuja-Kaduna Road project uncompleted, myriad of potholes causing vehicle crashes. Again, 6 years after Abuja-Kaduna Road project uncompleted. I'm sure that everyone's going to mention the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, an investment we're putting there when we have uncompleted road projects across the country. Commuters demand urgent government action to be completed in 12 months, says Works Minister. Samoa report, Ombudsman writes Daily Trust, asks for response. NNPC Limited now owns only 7.2% of Dangote refinery, says Aliko Dangote. And also, victim narrates ordeal after school and residential building collapse in Jos and Abuja. We can also see on the screens there, or rather the pictures there, Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Mohamed Ali Pate, visiting Bayes University Hospital with the Chancellor of the Bayes University, Senator Dati Baba Ahmed, and a few others checking on an admitted student. These are the stories on the Daily Trust newspapers this morning, very interesting ones. I'm not sure where we should start from. Mr. Okunade, I think you probably should start from the NNPC story. Owning just 7.2% of the Dangote refinery. I think the initial agreement was they were going to own 20%, but for some reason they failed to meet up with that.
Thank you very much. The fact remains that when you look at some of the things that we do, inconsistency in some of our plans, everybody's expectation was that as a nation, having such stake will give us maybe a good ride for us to do. But it's good that the chairman of Dangote group has come to say only 7.2%. So the noise on the part of we the citizens to say, we have large stake in Dangote, we can do this, we can do that, would definitely be relieved. But beyond that, our words have always been, can we have more enabling environment for more of this private-public partnership? Even if it is 7%, I don't take it for far, but let those who understand the business come out, carry it, and let government bring out policies that would definitely, assist in making sure that these companies survive some of those things. You and I understand what Dangote Refinery has faced with the IOCs and other stakeholders why we cannot actually have what is actually expected. You know, it was celebration when this project started, that with the advent of Dangote refinery, we have fuel at a cheaper rate and the likes. But here we are today, we're not having that. We want a situation where government can be consistent with their policy, create the enabling environment, so that it won't be only Dangote. We can have 3, 4, 5, investors, setting up this kind of a thing. Take it out of the hands of the government, and possibly those so-called dilapidated refineries can be pushed to some of these business owners who understand the dynamics of business to grow it, so that we can have some of those things functioning. Because I keep asking myself, those things are wasting away there, and we keep having turnaround maintenance costs, people's salary are paid for non-functioning refinery. Give it to the hands of business commercial people who can work on it, have stake in it, to possibly even 5-7%, so that we can have some of those things functioning, and you can give employment opportunity to people and possibly crash the price of that particular, because it has a great impact in the economy of the nation. The issue of energy cost cut across, whether you want to fuel, whether your vehicle for logistics, you want to fuel your generator for other things, it plays a key role. And that's why we'll keep saying that let government work in such a way that we can crash down the price for us to really move on, and businesses can survive the more.
But for further clarity, how much of a problem is it, that Dangote himself, is not able to get necessary crude oil supply from the NNPC and from, Nigeria itself? Shouldn't that be a major problem, that the government should be embarrassed about?
Well, they are not embarrassed about it, because some of us have said it, that this administration is more of revenue generation than the welfare of the citizen. But some of us have said it, that I think area to go is, if you are selling out, you have a product, you're selling it out to generate revenue to take care of your family. And somebody is saying that no, as internally, you can use that raw material that you have, processed it, and they get more revenue. I think if it's for us to reduce our quota to OPEC and satisfy our needs internally, it's more viable to me, because it is when you grow the economy to grow the more, you have more revenue. And that's why the diversification we've been talking about can be, but situation where the major source of what you call your income is nosediving, and you have an organization that can even overblow it. By the time Dangote refinery succeed, what you see more is you see other organizations trying to venture into it because of the support that they get from the government. But here we are, we'll prefer to even give that out to self-generate revenue, and the revenue we are generating is not even taking care of the welfare of the citizen. It's quite illogical, but that's what the part that the government has tried to throw, which we will continue to say, let's have a rethink about that. Let's supply more than giving out to generate revenue, and be able to satisfy the yearnings and the needs of our people by forcing the price of that particular product down across board. And above all, other byproducts that you will get from it can be an input into other industries that we need. You can look at bitumen, look at grease, look at fertilizer, all the byproducts which are so enormous that as we speak, when we import some of this product, we don't account for it. And I will always tell you that if you look at the statistics of what is to be generated from those byproducts, you know that we are losing a lot by not concentrating internally.
All right, let's move on to another conversation. Let's bring back the Daily Independent newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Independent, we can see that story there. It says, why Lagos may reinstate monthly environmental sanitation by Sanwo-Olu. And I want us to talk about this and see why exactly was the monthly sanitation. I know we used to do it before, where I don't know if it's first Thursday or last Thursday.
No, last Saturday.
Last Saturday of the month, where everyone will come out and clean their gutters. So I think the questions will be, 1, why was it stopped before? Do we have an idea why? 2, how efficient was it back in the day? And 3, how has our current reality morphed to be able to accommodate everyone coming out to clean the environment. Now, just to mention that if you're watching and you like to weigh in on the conversation, we want to hear your thoughts on this conversation as well. Please call the numbers on your TV screen. The numbers to call will be scrolling on your screen. You can call us and have the conversation with us. Please go ahead.
Yeah, for the monthly sanitation, you know, Ebmo Onoguru SAN, I think, took Lagos State government to court saying it's infringing on the fundamental human right for free movement. You know, then it used to be between 7 and 10, last Saturday of the month. Nobody goes anywhere. You stay indoor, clean your environment, and make that happen. But he felt then that when you come out at that particular time, people picked you up and you pay penalty. So he took them to court and won the case. And on that premise, they stopped that environmental sanitation. But I know we have the one that the market carries out every Thursdays, you know. But I think it's important that we reinstate that act. Not just that alone. When you look at some of those things that we used to do, there is this thing that we have the health officers, the Yorubas call them wole wole. They go inside and check activities. Those that do not have the normal septic disposal where you make your excretion come out, they penalize you, check some of those things. But we have actually moved away from that area, and I think it's something we need to reinstate. Sincerely speaking, when you look at the challenges we are faced with, people dumping refuse indiscriminately, and the way they are actually, we tend to do more other things, leaving the health side, which those days everybody knows. And one thing that we saw then that this thing brought is people that do not stay at home, at least between that 7 and 10, you can see them around as neighbors, get reunited.
Who
and
did I
do so
tell them
many
that I
things.
want to reunite with my neighbors?
You need to reunite.
Why
because
must I reunite?
it's fundamental.
See,
some people are owing so much, you don't see them when they are to pay their bills, NEPA bills,
but
and
that's
some
not.
other thing.
I'm
Take
looking
it
at,
out.
and I want us to go back to the conversation about rights, you know,
Yeah.
which you had earlier talked about.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, if they ask me to come out every Saturday to come and start cleaning my street,
It's not every Saturday, just one Saturday in a month.
I have somebody who comes to clean my house. I pay someone to clean my house. Why do I need to come and then Saturday I'm supposed to be resting? I'll come
That's
and be
because
cleaning
you
the
have that
streets.
privilege, you have that opportunity to pay
Is
someone.
there not-
For those that do not have, it's an opportunity for them to stay back and do that
Is it going
because
to
of
become, my own is it going to become mandatory?
then it was. But we can have the human face to it, where we can say, if we understand you as elites, you can carry it out, and we can check that those things are done properly, no problem. But we should always put a level playing ground where everybody will have that opportunity. If not for anything, we understand it's your right to move at any point in time. Use that 3 hours, even though you are paying someone to take care of your house. Use it to rest. We want you to take that time to rest, you know. But the fact remains that for other people who do not have that privilege that you have of paying someone to do that, and all they do is that all they work 7 days, they're out there without paying attention into cleaning their environment and making things to work. We should give them that leverage for them to carry those things out. And I think there's another area the government need to work on it. Those days, you know, we introduced this PSP where they
I was
can
wondering
move
what happened to
those
PSP.
areas. But we've seen instances where they are not actually working the way they used to work before. Heaps of debits, you know, areas where they are not supposed to be. I think we should.
So isn't it, you know, taking the government's responsibility from the
Exactly what
government
I'm
and giving it to the
asking.
citizens?
But before you respond to that, we have a call from Shuaib. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Oh, it does seem that we've lost that call. And that's a valid question, which is what I was trying to drive at all the while. Like,
Morning.
is it my responsibility? Okay, we still have our caller. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Yes.
We don't seem to be able to hear you in the studio. Shuaib, can you please speak up?
I want to quickly speak on the
Sesan Okunade, please go ahead.
issue of new
Yes.
Yeah, well, you can say that we are taking off the responsibility of the government, but it's check and balances. We have to do our part, they have to do their part, and that's why we're calling them out. But you know, most of the time when you sit back on that last Saturday of the month, even it has become a culture in some estate. That's when they try to have their normal meetings where they can speak how to actually make things in terms of security, development in the area, where everybody will come together and have discussion. that is still operational now because people have actually turned it to be. But I feel that we should speak more in the aspect where the government are not doing it right. And that's to say that can we improve more in the collection of refuse. And those days we always have this screen post and penalty where when you drop all these debits and debts where you're not supposed to drop it, you have people that will apprehend you, punish you, either to do community work or to pay fines or levy, and that on its own, make people to do the right thing, dispose what they are supposed to dispose of at the right location and at the right place where it's supposed to be.
For me, it really just sounds like being in 2024 but going back to 1997.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't sound like a society that is developing. Doesn't sound like a society that is being progressive. And once again, it doesn't sound like the government understands that there are certain things that there is responsibility and you shouldn't push that back to the citizens. No matter how much of the moral compass I want to use
Yes.
everybody should clean their environment. I get it. Yeah, you should clean your environment, no doubt. But there's a reason people pay taxes. And one of the things that government should do, with these taxes is ensure that the environment is clean. It's not going to be the citizens' responsibility. Morally, yes. But there's still that government responsibility that should exist. And if Lagos is a mega city, the Lagos of Africa, there are certain things that you shouldn't be hearing about that citizens are still being forced to do or cajoled to do once a month. Everybody should clean their environment. There should be I hate to use the word value chain, but I don't think that's what it is. But there should be a process through which refuse is collected, and it is maybe recycled if we have that process in Lagos, but it is collected in a certain place. It is moved from that place to the main place where there's a refuse dump in Lagos, or main locations where the refuse dump in Lagos. But because we don't have those things in place, we don't have those who are sweeping the streets, the trucks that come to pick them up from the junction or from move them to because we don't have all of that fully functional. That's why we then say, oh, people should clean their streets. And I know the reason that this is happening because of that rainfall
and the person who was
that created chaos in Lagos. For I think 2 Tuesdays ago, 3 Tuesdays ago.
And because there was also the video of the family that were throwing trash into the drain. And Loma can then take it upon themselves to say that areas and communities where these basic things are flouted, these basic rules are flouted, they will be reprimanded, they will be punished. That's
who do you know is responsible for it?
Osag, I would say I'm not speaking for Lagos State government, but I know for the Loma, they've actually taken certain steps in making sure that some of those things are actually available. When you go to areas, you see, I think the dichotomy between the high and the lower trodden people, it's the major problem where we have here. I know several estates where you go to today, they have different bins where they collect refugees, where you drop your paper here, you drop this here, and they come, you pay, and they pick it up. We have some areas that you cannot see heaps of some of those problems. That's why I said, if not that we just need to have a level playing ground for everyone. There are some places you will go to, the environment is clean because they can afford certain, fee being imposed by the government of them to make those things work. No, but there are certain people that cannot, and I think that's where I will support you to say government, because the essence of paying taxes is for us to being a level playing ground. If some people are paying so much to make those things available, then you can use those funds generated from that area to make sure that you take care of those people that you know that they will not do it, and reintroduce those aspects in those areas where those things have been flouted for them to do it properly. But I know that they are actually doing a lot in terms of.
And I will give them kudos. I don't take away any kudos that you give to Loma for the work that they are doing. Absolutely, they should be celebrated.
But it's just that you can't have it all. There are some areas that give it to it. The people there prefer to do things that are against the policy of this, and I think those are areas they need to concentrate.
If you set up a government, and let me just also mention that this should even be a local government thing. It's not. It should.
And maybe with the autonomy we are having now.
Yes, should. No, it's not. I mean, the autonomy is there, but the autonomy is financial autonomy. I'm talking about the ability of the local government to fully function as a local government.
The reason why they are not functioning is because they claim that they don't have funds.
At least now they
but
have
now that they have
those
things can now, co-opt them back. Even those things I said, the wole of a thing, the health officers are the functions of the local government area. They go in there because they are the grassroots people, and that's why we're saying that this autonomy we're talking of, the financial autonomy, which we empower the state. Because part of the things we're saying now is the local government should brace up. We will not ask questions because all the functions that they were supposed to carry out before now they were not doing.
Right.
We can now revisit it because now they have that autonomy and they have the finance to carry those things out, and we can now address, because some of this clearing of drainages should be their responsibility.
Absolutely.
And not
Okay.
that of the state on their
Let's
own.
hear from our caller. Shaibo has called back. Thank you very much for calling back. Please go ahead with your comment.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, talking about the front pages and all that is happening in the country. I was trying to say the other time that this issue of trying to address food crisis, elders, farmers, clashes, I think is a welcome development, and if we go a long way, it will at least help in reducing the space at which elders and farmers clash, and we have food sufficiency. So the Ministry of the Livestock that is created, I don't know. I will have feel that it should be under Ministry of Agriculture. But as it is, government knows what best it should be. And looking at the Orosanios report, so to speak, I don't know, we are trying to say we are reducing the numbers of ministries and agencies, and we are creating another one. As I speak to you, in an attempt to even create agencies, is causing some people like they don't even know where to belong. I, for example, work in a federal government parastatus, which perhaps they have said that they will be a kind of, will be self-funding, and in my organization is not even a revenue generating agency. The organization itself is Liberian Association Council of Nigeria, and they've been removed from budget funding, and from January to date, I can speak to you that we've been battling with unable to pay people's salaries. They've not paid us salary from January to date. And yet, we are talking about merger in such a way that people will not lose their jobs and their lives. And we've engaged the Ministry of Education and who are our supervisory body, and they've not been able to address this issue. So I believe there is nowhere in public service rules where pensionable gazetted federal government workers will one day, just in the name of self-funding, will not be earning salary. Some of the children now, they cannot pay school fees from January then. Some, they are even about being evicted from home. So I think some of these things should be looked into. You shouldn't say you are trying to merge agency and you make Nigerians to suffer more. Those who are dependent, who are dependent at home, should not be made to be dependent. So the government should look at some of these things so that there will be more problems when the economic is vital.
Thank you very much for your contribution. That's really sad to hear that the agencies have people who haven't been paid from since January. This is the 7th month in the year. It's sad.
It's quite sad.
And I'm hoping that we can revisit the conversation again in another, at a later date.
Yep.
But thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Okunade, for joining us this morning.
It's a great pleasure to start the week with you.
All right.